Hello, welcome back. Oh yeah. 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 Uh, I am starting to remember what we've been doing. Alright. Right, sad music. Oh, sir, you're awake. Does that mean I'm ready to do things? For example, I forgot to get my timer all set up. There we go. You were injured during the foray on Mount Yes, I was here at my station as always. They carried you in on a makeshift stretcher, looking disturbingly bereft of vigor. Hold on. There. Me have to make sure thing work. As to compound my worry, this guy has, well, I'm sure you have seen, it has everyone rather concerned, to say the least. Seeing you up and about is the first good news we've had in a while, assuming you feel strong enough. Would you mayhap consider a stroll around the city to reassure our anxious citizens? Braggy was one of those who helped convoy you to your chambers, and he has visited several times since to inquire after your condition. Ah, yes, the man that we only met the once. Since it's going into the handle, I forget that this is a scythe, and I think it's an axe. While I was asleep, Edgar became a marauder. Oh no. Oh, well, look who's back from the dead. Aye, it was a grim sight. Your companions looked fair ready to drop when they brought you in, so I offered a helping hand. Couldn't bear to see them struggle so. And you, my friend, I fear you had one foot in the grave. Cold and lifeless you were, like a corpse that was somehow still breathing. Then they told me some evil bastard went and snatched our poor exarch away in the midst of the chaos. Wicked white, what is this world coming to? But morning never solved a thing, did it? Nay, it's time like these that we Crystarium folk stand tall and do what needs to be done. Trade with Yulmore is back on the table. We've best make use of those resources to fortify the city against the Eaters, or whatever misery that fate deems to fit to throw at us next. Speaking of misery, Shamal was worried sick about you. Hila wringed her hands, and not a sight you ever wish to see. Let me tell you. Let's see. Yesterday, for some odd reason, I had really bad lag when I was playing this. When I was playing 14, I didn't record yesterday, but I was still playing on my character. But yeah, it for some reason it was starting to lag, and that's what you don't want, is your healer lagging. Oh, sweetie, you're alive. No one's been allowed to see you. Even Spurlick's grins were forbidden from making visits. Reen was kind enough to tell me you were showing symptoms similar to Eater corruption, so I suppose there was little any of us could have done for you in any case. As for your companions, they've been rushing hither and yon, seeking a cure to your condition. I worry to see their faces grown ever more haggard every time they pass through the Crystorium. I shall let them know you're awake, and when they come to see you, sweetie, please do convince them to rest a bit. They won't be helping anyone if they all collapse of exhaustion. Oh, and our own Morin has been little better. I'm afraid he hasn't left the cabinet. Too busy with his nose buried in one dusty tome or another. Yeah, and then before this, I had to go and fix my mic. Because I don't know why, but my mic has decided it no longer wants to stand. well, stand up straight, so I have to finagle with the wiring of it to get it to stand. Because the part that of my mic that, because it's to stand, that's part of the stand is all it's connected through wires and stuff. And we got a Pandora screaming. We're talking at least. Yeah, she ended up hiding her toys away and losing them, so she's not been having a good time recently. Confound it, this says the same thing as the last. Mayhap I should approach the problem from a different perspective. Edgar, is it truly you and not some figment of my imagination? Oh, but this is wonderful. 'Twould seem our prayers have been answered. Does Pandora want to go in the window? I guess not. She just wants to annoy me. Feeling otherwise helpless, I've been scouring our shelves for the wisdom to explain this most worrisome conundrum. Why, with all the light wardens defeated, has the light returned to obscure the sky? I mean, technically the ether never dissipated. So logically the ether would still be there to create the light in the sky, it just moved to a different area for a time. I must have pondered over 100 tomes, but no definitive conclusion seems forthcoming. So many questions I would pose to the Exarch, and thus do I feel his absence all the more keenly. Now that you are Wakeover, I am hopeful the search for our stolen steward might begin in earnest. Catless, meanwhile, leads the Crystal Mean and preparations for battle. Though against what foe, we are as yet uncertain. Why not pay her a visit? I expect seeing you. You go like you want it in the window, but you don't. What you want, Pandora? Pay her a visit. I expect seeing you upright would be a much welcome relief. Okay, she's given up this messing with the curtains and now she's just laying next to me. Awkward old dudes, crafters and gatherers. Edgar, alive and well, I see. You gave us all a proper fright. You know that. Not a day's gone by that I haven't heard folks worrying what's to become of you or the Exarch. Anyway, I'm glad you've recovered enough to stand. You're not planning on striking out straight away, though, are you? I was hoping to have a better look at your equipment. If we'd be able to provide you with better weapons or sturdier helms, then mayhap you would have won the day and the Exarch would still be here. As such, we're keeping busy consulting each other on new forging techniques and designs and the like. If you would stand still a moment, I'd like to access your gear. We're trying to improve. Okay, she finally decided to get in the window. Well, that's some fine work, I must admit. It wouldn't be impossible to make something better, but we need to experiment with different patterns and materials. And I'm not sure we have that kind of time. That sounds like a challenge that he would enjoy. Hold on, right there. I just remembered that I checked. I made sure that the recording was going, but I didn't check to see if it was working. So I had to see if it was actually capturing. And now, since I sneezed, Pandora's back, wondering what's going on. So I'll be right back. I don't want to be in the window or not. Okay, Pandora decided that she didn't want to be in the window. She got out, and then I put her back in the window before she would do what she did before. And then she just jumped right back out, and now she's back next to me. Meetings, Garland. Glenard, the master of the stairs, is running his own errands now, is he? Well, my servers are distraught enough as it is, and I don't want to crack the whip too hard. But never mind that, I'm thinking our absent genius and his epiphanies are the perfect answer to this predicament of yours. And by genius you mean old Grinault. He is a man of unrivaled gifts. I won't argue with you there. What good does his talents do us if we can't bloody find him? No one's seen hide nor hair of Grinault since he wandered off some years ago. You know what he's like. Once he latches on to an idea, he's probably cloistered himself in some forgotten cave, completely absorbed in his latest creation. I won't even know where to start looking. That does make things difficult. So, if that eccentric is someone you've destined to meet, I wager he'll show up soon enough. In my time at the bar, many the tale I've heard told of strangely fated encounters, even if a few of them might be stretching the truth just a bit. Well, keep our nose to the grindstone for the time being. But on the off chance you do encounter Grinault, you be wise to take advantage of his brilliance rather than wait on our slow and steady progress. This is all talk for when you're fully recovered, of course. I'll let you get back to convalescing. Words! And Pandora's messing with the curtains again. And now she's back in the window. And now she's back out of the window. Make up your mind. Before you do that, you actually the reason I came here in the first place. I don't suggest partaking of my suck until you properly well, but if you're passing near the stairs, then I've a regular who's eager to see you. And now she's back in the window. Here's the thing. They've been saying that Edgar has something similar to eater corruption. So when they're saying when you get well, that doesn't really strike a true, does it? I best be getting back. Just because the world's coming apart at the seams doesn't mean we have to follow suit now, does it? You're here. We can't forget the heart upon which the city was founded, or the Exarch might not have much of a home to return to. I mean, if worse comes to worse, Edgar could just go in his final moments go into the flow and just dissipate there. Oh, that precious ether is now in the flow. Edgar, are you alright? I think a return to your sickbed might be in order. Oh. Or you might consider resting a while atop the watchtower. Need to be the rookery. The soundable sky doesn't make for the most soothing scenery, but the Exarch oft like to stand there and feel the wind upon his face. Yeah, we could just have Y'shtola cast Flow on us. And then we could just, you know, dissipate in the life way, or the ether way. That's one way to get rid of this. Another way, he could just, you know, go to the source and just turn there. See how much we can mess up our plans that way. Oh, we can just open a void gate and go through that. First, we need to find a void gate. And I doubt there's any void gates still open near the crystal tower on the source. Ah, purple.
The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight.
Hold on, Ardbert. There was a piece of debris underneath one of my keys.
I can imagine how torn you must feel, looking at that sky. Knowing what it means to everyone. And that you're responsible. An all too familiar one. Here you stand alone, expecting no one else to bear the burden for you. You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out. That doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet. I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then the Oracle appeared and, well, you know the rest. There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen. That we'd made one last mistake. But seeing that giant Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had. Always, Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one. To think that their hope still burns so bright. That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive. Well, come on then.
Just an explosion happens. Yow.
As I thought. What happened between us was no coincidence. My story may be finished, but the fates have gifted me a minor role in yours. I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me.
Imagine someone just looking on at this to just see a light coming from Edgar's hand.
But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood. I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse.
Can we go back to the close-up?
But no longer.
Thank you.
After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish. For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours. If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you. So, let us be about it, hero.
Oh, I was worried you were up here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie. Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours. My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you?
Get the duct tape. Or soul tape.
Shall I yield up my throne? You could claim it, cut ties with the mortal world, hide away in the castle.
I guess in theory that would... Could that possibly help? We would gain a lot more ether. And what effect would it have on the soul?
It won't fix the problem, but would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic, all of Il Meg will rise up in your defense. My crown and scepter are yours, if you want them. What? Don't give me that look. Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion. And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower?
Possibly explode.
Oh, my dear beloved sapling. You are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits. Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment, at this time, in this place. Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow.
Wait a minute, the crystal tower was designed to absorb ether from the sun. So if we... Why didn't we just come back here with the XR and use the, have the XR try to leach the excess ether into the tower?
See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue. You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
And again, if we did that, I'd probably just kill Edgar. Some sacrifices are needed to make. And again, it could just turn the entire tower into a giant light warden. The Crystal Light Warden. Yeah. Oh, I did not expect to see you on your feet so soon. Surely you have not come in search of an Amuro. What do I know of the Crystal Exarch? I am happy to share, but I fear there will be no surprising revelation, as any in the city could tell you he is a man of wisdom and compassion and many untold secrets. But none can doubt his generosity. When the Crystorium was being constructed, he even allowed folk to plunder the tower for resources. He has imposed no restrictions upon us but one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons passed. A comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, because one day the crystal tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived. So we must ride the tower. Into space! Just make it into a giant rocket. We're using all the ether that's accumulated from the light into the star to get to the stars. Oh, was there... Oh, right. The only reason why I was able to do that was because of Delo mode, wasn't it? Eh. Oh, is there something else you needed if you come for the results of my research into the persistent light? I'm afraid there's little to tell as of yet. Records pertaining to the Exarch? Well, I need no documentation to rely on what little I know of his history. If that is what interests you. Less than a decade had passed since the coming of the Flood, when the Crystal Tower first flashed into existence. Its summoner, the Exarch himself, became known to the refugees in Lakeland soon thereafter. He welcomed all who sought out the spire, be they local who had lost their homes or Voberites fleeing from their ruined kingdom. And together did they found the city which would become the Crystorium. Some thought to call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of royal address. Thus did the people consider his skeleton skin as akin to the tower he had summoned, and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, it would seem that is a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. And then Edgar just tells them. There. Edgar, it is good to see you awake and alert, my friend. What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch's memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can tell you, considering we avoid asking too many questions, unspoken rule and all that. If anyone has fresh insight to share, then it be Captain Linia, I say. She lost her parents to a Neater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch saw to her upbringing. Outward appearances aside, those two are like grandfather and granddaughter. I imagine the news of his predicament hit her doubly hard. Doubly. Not that our proud captain would ever let it show. If you do decide to talk to Nina, she'll be at her usual post at the Sword Gate. Back out into the wilds. Alright. For a second I was like, which one did I have it? You're right, I did it the same way I have my healers set up. Been up for about 3 or 4 hours, and yet I'm still tired. Yeah. Edgar, I was not told you had awakened. A welcome surprise. Now, if only the Exarch was returned to us. He was taken by this rival of yours, was he not? Your companions mentioned they had an idea to where to find him. And so I bristled when they asked for patience. I did not understand their hesitation until I saw that you had fallen. And only then did I realize I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, Pandora's messing things up again. If it wasn't her only TV, I would close the blinds. What she used to do was she used to lay on the couch and watch me for the longest time. And then, when she started to be more rambunctious, she started having to go in and out of the window all the time. Delay has been no less agonizing. The moments before he left to join you in Casalucia, the Exarch entrusted me with a key. It opens the door in the ocular to a chamber known as the umbilicus. This room is the heart of the tower, into which only the Exarch himself is permitted to enter. He bid me allow none into the tower once he had departed. Only in the event that an army of eaters descended upon the city was I to access the umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier. Never before had he left me with such instructions, but the battle with Fothry loomed near, and at the time I accepted the key without much thought. Since then, however, that moment is all that accompanies my mind. When I recall the look upon his face, he knew that some terrible fate awaited him. Tell me, Edgar, I need to know what he feared, what battle you and your companions are truly fighting. Tell her about the Interstellar War. Forgive me, I trust in the Exarch, and I should not be voicing these doubts when he is not here to respond to them personally. But you have come to me with a question of your own, have you not? I see I am not the only one who burns for answers. The time has come to open the crystal's heart. We must open the crystal's heart. Open the tower's heart. Though we do not face an invasion of eaters, I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek. That tower just recedes back into the ground. I'll climb out after the seventh calamity. Into the ground I must recede. You know this is new soil. Come meet me in the ocular, and I will unlock the door within. I'm considering that I might do the optional dungeon that opens up here soon. But that's probably going to be next recording session when I finally decide if I'll do it or not. Itchy. Oh goodness, did he build these stairs or these stairs already exist? Because from what I remember, we only found this like in a wall, the door. A rock wall, I believe. Master Edgar, the captain said to expect you.
I have unlocked the door to the umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
A moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then. By thy claims, Thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the 8th umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star. Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow, I am sure.
I doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Certainly. But where to begin? I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity. Sid Garland being perhaps the greatest. In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions. One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures. It proposed a method by which one could enter the River of Time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice. But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery and misery and murder. People cried out in despair, "There is no hope! We are finished! Mankind is finished!" Then others raised their voices in answer. Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass. The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Sid's research and labored to realize those impossible ideas. After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me. By this stage, scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th umbral calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Sid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou effect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the Source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous. Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity. Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
Hurry on, Jay. when time gets involved, it's just best to forget all of that type of stuff and just let go with the flow. Because everything we know is theoretical. We have no idea what actually will happen.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Cid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict. To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward. 'Tis a hard thing to ask. Harder still for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was him. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread. Where others would stumble and fall, he would rise above. Where others would break and run, he would carry on. The warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow. In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally. In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were his deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little surprise that the plan found no shortage of volunteers, concerning as it did the warrior of light himself. It was their chance to add their own verse to the hero's saga. He was the lodestar that brought them all together, to send their final message back through time and space to him.
I just realized this is considerably a longer echo than I think the others have been.
The light of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. Burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
Wherefore sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First. Your actions showed uncommon resolve. 'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world. I knew I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me, but in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity, and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity, and make of it a portent. A prophetic vision you beheld in the swirling chaos of the Rift.
Is this truly thy wish?
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would. and I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course. I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
So is the big bauble actually a piano or not?
Careful now. If you lose control again, the light could claim you for good. Although it's probably only a matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case. What do you mean to do? We should be on our way. Dacian mentioned the Tempest, did he not? That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere, hidden beneath the waves.
Did you find the answers you sought? Is there... if there is nothing more you need, I will go unlock the door. The Tempest, that is the name given to the seas by which Calusia is bound. If you make a request to the Tamers, they will provide you with an armu to fly you over the waters, but... You mean to leave right this moment alone? I am not sure that, nay, I will not seek to stop you. Go with the blessings of the shadow, and I shall await your safe return. Hector's just going to go and just jump into the ocean. Fuck it, he can breathe underwater. Just get him above the Tempest, he'll just dive right in. Require an armor, just a moment. I shall saddle our swiftest beast to fly you to the island. The open water to the depths of the Tempest. Our Amu can swim, yes, but to reach the ocean floor. Don't worry. Foos has enough stuff to sink both the Armu, Edgar, and itself to the bottom of the ocean.
Ah, we have found thee. Word reached us of thy recovery, and thus did we gather with all haste. Ah. By thy looks, I gather thou hast gleaned that which I came to tell thee.
Urianger has shared everything with us. The Exarch's true identity and purpose.
I offer no excuses. When I agreed to aid the Exarch with his plans, 'twas in full acceptance of the condemnation I would face when my duplicity was laid bare.
Urianger, you're saying this in front of people of the Crystorium.
Yet it is not rancor, but resolve that I sense in thee. Thou art fully intent upon walking thy path to its end, art thou not? If thou canst forgive my deception, or, failing that, set aside thy displeasure for a time, I do beg leave to follow thee. What strength and wisdom I possess are thine to command.
I'm a danger to those around me. I think that was the one I chose, because that is true.
Pray believe me when I say that I took no pleasure in deceiving thee. Indeed, I curse the circumstances which compelled me to do so. But no further secrets lie between us, I swear it.
I'm sorry, but I don't think this is a good idea. Leaving the Crystarium, I mean, with or without Urianche.
Ryan, the only other option we have is to yeet Edgar into death. Rather via flow, or via trying to open up a void gate and yeet him in through there. Or I could just go back to the first and die there. And see what mayhem is escalates from that.
What I did for you won't last forever. There's no telling when the light will break free again. Please, you must stay here. At least for a little while longer. We will find a way to cure this, I promise you.
How can you make promises? We don't even know where to start.
Alize, please. You know Reen was only trying to help.
Alphanel, you know Alize has a point.
Of course I know! I know only too well! But making promises you have no way of keeping is not a kindness. It's a lie. Plain and simple. We've all searched high and low for an answer, and every one of us came back empty-handed. I am not about to stand in his way now. Not after failing him in his hour of need. No! The least we can do is...
We will go with you as well. There is naught to be gained by standing still.
Indeed, we have exhausted every other avenue.
Actually, standing still would probably make things worse, because light is stasis, so Edgar should be more active.
Lead, and we shall follow. If there is any hope to be found, then we will surely find it at your side.
Are we all in agreement then?
You've been outvoted, Ryan. Get in the bag.
Is there aught we can do to help?
Fetch me a catapult.
Though we may not know the whole story, we do know you're in for a fight.
And plenty of rocks for Edgar to put in his pockets. Because I don't think Foos has enough stuff to sink everybody here.
And while the Exarch's away, it falls to the rest of us to see the Warrior of Darkness is given a proper send-off.
You told them!
No. Well, not in so many words.
Aye, we didn't need it spelled out for us. When the night sky appeared over whichever place you went to, it was harder not to put two and two together.
From the moment I heard that you and the Exarch shared the homeland, I had my suspicions. Long had he been waiting for a certain someone to arrive, and I knew at once that it must be you.
Exactly. When he went up to meet you, it was clear it was no ordinary visitor. That spring in his step spoke volumes. I could feel his excitement.
Eat him! That's right!
Yay!
We do not fully understand where you or the Exarch hail from, or why you've all done so much to protect us. But we are deeply grateful nonetheless. So, if there is anything at all we might do to aid your journey, you need only name it. What would you have of us?
You might have invited them to join us, where there are not so many. Come, they are waiting. What is your will, O warrior of darkness?
Wait, where did everybody go? Oh, it's just like it's Edgar. Oh, there we go. Thou didst plan to command an army for thy journey to the open sea. I fear the following dive down onto Misthel's underwater abode would drain even thy legendary stamina. Hurry on, Jay. Gravity does the work. That's during the convolence and considered the most efficient method for reaching the depths of the Tempest, and I believe we have arrived at an elegant solution. Here we discuss the set messages. Thou dost conclude such pressing business as remains to thee in the Crystorium. Once the sea closes above our heads, we are unlikely to surface again until our grand deed is done. And with that, I'll end the episode there, and I'll see you all in the next.